Hello, friends. Welcome back to Momentum Boost. I'm, of course, your host, Adrienne Gold Davis, and I'm grateful to have you all here with me today. So Yom Hazikaron, which is Israel's Remembrance Day, has been traditionally dedicated to fallen soldiers, but commemoration has also been extended to civilian victims of terrorism. It's a day of deep solemnity and pain. In a country as small as Israel, there are less than 6 degrees of separation. No family seems untouched by the loss endured by this tiny but resilient land. When we experience great loss, no one needs to remind us to remember. You carry that pain eternally. It's like a phantom leg after amputation. But one other purpose that a Remembrance Day can serve is to sensitize us to the pain of others, to remind us that everyone has a story that could break your heart, and that as a nation, we are deeply intertwined. And perhaps for that one day each year, the bereaved feel seen and heard, even in some cases, years and years after their painful losses. Rabbi Eran says that one who loses his parents is an orphan. Bereaved spouses become widows or widowers. There are losses so profound that a special word is needed to express this new state of being. In the Torah, Jacob, our forefather, used a specific term, shakul, for himself as a parent who lost a child. And by using this special term, the Torah was calling for added sensitivity towards the pain parents endure. How does a parent find their way back into the light of the living after a loss of such magnitude? In Israel, this reality is addressed through many organizations who offer support and strength and hope. And one of them also has a unique and powerful way that tonight's guest availed herself of. Mary Dan-Goor lost her beloved son, Eran, and she descended into a pit of depression and misery that she simply could not pull herself out of. But Or la Mishpachot, which means a light to families, offered her a way to step back into the light, a way that, for her, was literally both life-saving and life-giving. In 2008, Or la Mishpachot was established to serve as a comprehensive family bereavement support program that would fill the families' lives with substance and joint endeavors which generate positive social impact, provide them with empowering experiences, and help them reinforce family ties. Mary Dan-Goor herself is a doctor at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem in the Department of Microbiology and Molecular Genetics. But today she's here as a mother, the mother of a child who fell in battle. Before I introduce you to Mary, I would like you all to meet, at least virtually, her late, beloved, forever son, Eran.
שאמות משהו ממני, משהו ממני ימות בך, ימות בך, שתמות משהו ממך בי, משהו ממך בי ימות איתך, ימות איתך, כי כולנו, כן כולנו נשאר איתו. אם נדע איך להרגיע, איך להרגיע את האיבה, אם רק נדע, אם נדע, אם נדע להשקיט את צעמנו, על אף עלבוננו לומר סליחה, אם נדע להתחיל מההתחלה, כי כולנו, כן כולנו, כולנו רקמה אנושית אחת חיה, ואם אחד מאיתנו הולך מעימנו, משהו מת בנו, משהו נשאר איתו. כי כולנו, כן כולנו, כולנו רקמה אנושית אחת חיה, ואם אחד מאיתנו הולך עימנו, משהו מת בנו, משהו נשאר איתו.
Mary,
Yes.
what a beautiful boy.
He was perfect.
Tell me a bit about him.
Eran was my biggest son, one of the three boys, and he's a son that every mother dreams about, such as a child. He brought me to my life only joy and happiness, and he was excelled in everything he did. He loved Israel, loved his country. He wanted to volunteer and to do things for Israel. And he loved to go to the army and choose to be in Givat unit. And every step that he did in the army, he excelled in it. Tionut, first training, and then he was supposed to go to be an officer. And I told Eran, okay, don't be every time the first one, stay behind, take care of yourself. And he said, Mom, you know that nothing will happen to me. If I'm not going to do it, who is going to do it? I have to be there. I have to be the first one. I have to help. I have to do everything. And he was a very good brother to his brothers. He took care of them. He all the time was anxious to know are they good in their studies, are they good in the things that they do. And when he came home, he was like a commander, said, take your bag, said, tidy your room. And he was the best.
I was saying earlier that you don't need Yom Hazikaron, I would imagine,
Right. Every day for us, it's Yom Hazikaron.
So who do you think it's for? Is Yom HaZikaron for the families of the bereaved, or is it for the rest of us to remember? Or does it give you permission for one day for the world to know how you feel?
Yes, well, it divided into two because Yom HaZikaron is really for the people of Israel and for the Jewish around the world to know and to meet the families and their bereavement and their pain and to understand what is going on during all their lives. But also, when we stand near the grave and see all the people that are coming and support us, and they give us love and hugs, and you feel that they are this day with us totally, with the pain, with the boy that is not around us. So it gives us power and force to continue, to know that people are remembering, even if it's one day during the year.
You know, when you and I spoke earlier, you mentioned to me that you needed a day that was called Yom HaForgetting, a day to forget, not a day to remember. I wonder, you expressed that after you found out that your life just went dark, but you had two other children. Tell me what it was like, what the grief looked like, how far it went, and how it affected your family.
When they knock on your door and they say that Eran is not going to come again, and that's it, he left the world, the family is crashed. I mean, me and my two boys are not anymore the same that we were before. The only thing I wanted to do is to die. I lied in bed. I didn't take care of my two boys. I didn't cook for them. I didn't know where they are going or coming, going, studying, nothing. I just wanted to die. And they were really lost. Nadav and my guy, they didn't have the mother that they are supposed to have, like Eran had. I was totally for my kids. I was totally for my boys, just to give them good education and to see that they are growing and becoming good citizens for our country. And our family was broken. Nothing was important anymore. I'm working, I wanted to be a professor, not just a doctor, to proceed my career. And when Iran went, I left everything. I didn't go to work. It wasn't important anymore. That's it. And the worst thing that every day I ask to die, and you know, in Hebrew you said, Chaim v'mavet beyad halashon. It means when you ask to die, it's like depending on your tongue. And I got a cancer in my tongue. And I said to myself, God, you gave me cancer in my tongue because I ask to die every day. And I had a bad operation, a very hard one. And they said maybe I can't speak anymore. But the moment I woke up, I said, that's it. I want to live. I want to take care of my boys. Life is so powerful, and I want to enjoy every moment of this with my boys because God showed me that if you want to die, I can lead you to it.
Mary,
So
what about your boys? How long were you in that dark place where you weren't able to take care of yourself or anybody else before you got sick? How long were you?
it was nearly 2 years, nearly 2 years.
And how old were the other boys?
And Nadav was 17 and Guy was 14. Nadav was supposed to go to be a pilot. And he said, Mom, I'm not going to do it to you anymore. And he gave up and he went to another unit. And the guy was really small. He was 14. all these hard years for him. He said, until today, he said, Mom, I didn't have the chance to grow up because between 14 and all during these years, I was alone and I didn't want to bother you because when they see me in such a condition, they don't want to ask anything. Just leave mom that she will be okay. We want mom alive. That's it. That's what we want.
Oh, darling. Tell me, how did you come back into life? You said that having cancer, particularly tongue cancer, which you obviously feel had a spiritual connection to speaking language that put your life at risk. After the cancer and after the operation, were you instantly okay? Were you able to move through your day the way you used to? And what ultimately brought you back to a place where you can actually talk to all of us around the world about this?
Well, of course, not automatically. It's a procedure that you have to pass with yourself and you have to accept the bereavement because all the time when you fight with it, that you don't accept that Eran went, you won't proceed. You are stuck. And the moment I said, okay, I accept it, I don't, of course, forget Eran, I'm still continuing. So I tried many things. I did the degree in psychology. I went around the world, all kind of places, and it was not enough. It was not enough. I said, even if I will live in 10, in a big house with 10 cars around, I just want my child. I just want my child back. And I knew that for me, I'm totally a mother, even before my career. And I thought to myself, when I will have maybe a child, a baby, maybe this will bring me back to life because this is the symbol of life. You can't lie in bed when you have a baby, when he needs you, calls you at night, Mom, I need my milk, I want you. So all המשפחות created a group that's called the pregnancy in the second age, because at my age, it's not usual to be pregnant.
Mary, is it specifically for mothers who have had tragedy and want the opportunity to perhaps bring more life into the world?
Yes, this group specifically for the mothers who lost their child and want to have a baby. I couldn't be pregnant at my age, so Irit offered me, Irit is the head of the Or Mishpachot, a surrogate, to take a surrogate. So I told Irit, well, surrogate, it's nice, but it costs a fortune. It's cost like $500,000 shekel.
Right.
So I don't have the money for that. So Irit from Or Mishpachot said, the reason that you won't have a baby is money. I will get you the money. So she went to this Institute of Surrogate. She spoke with the manager and he donated the whole procedure for us, the whole procedure. And we followed the pregnancy. And after 9 months, we've got a baby and we called him O. It means light. And he brought us a big light to our life, a big, big light.
Oh, Mary, how old is Or now?
O is nearly 4 and he's a happy boy. He definitely not instead of Eran. He grows like a regular boy with a lot of love and brothers. And we are very, very happy with this boy. I don't say that this is the medicine for bereavement and for all the mothers, because you have to be prepared for it. But if it's going to, if you like children, I mean, if you are devoted to this procedure, it gives us life. really.
I hope this is not a chutzpah, Mary. Please forgive me if it is, but how did your other two sons feel after one of them told you he lost his childhood because you weren't there? How did he feel when you guys brought another life into the house? How did they
Well,
feel?
I must admit they didn't like it at all. They were very, very angry with me. And Nadav is bigger than Guy, said, I want to bring you the joy into your life. I will bring you a grandchild. I said,
Oh,
I have a big heart. I have a place for a grandchild. I have a place for my child. And I'm very, very sorry that these 2 years I wasn't for them. I know that there was a big damage for them. That they lost a brother, but they lost also their mothers during these years. So for me, after I persuade them and talk with them, and it took time. It took time. It was very, very hard for me that they were angry, but it was the first time that I did something for myself. And I told my sons, if this is the medicine, your mother is sick, if this is the medicine for her, if this will bring her into life again, you will avoid it for me? Why? Because, children, they take care of themselves and they want me totally for themselves. So after long talking, it became better. And also I have two grandchildren from Nadav, Shiloh, Eran, and Liel.
oh.
Yes.
Mary, you must be very busy with a 4-year-old. Takes up a lot of time and a lot of energy, and you have grandchildren, and you have your beloved husband, and you have your work. Your relationship with your son, which may not be with Eran, which may not be physical anymore, but you still have a spiritual relationship with him. Do you find that there's a time in particular where you think of him the most?
Well, during the day, I'm totally busy, as you said. My oar is like a morphine for me. It takes my head 24/7, totally, that I have to think about him, I have to deal with him, I have to take care of him. And it's so, so good. He's really like a drug for me. But usually at night, I force myself to wake up and to have half an hour or 1 hour with my Eran, just, to be with him alone, to remember him, to think about him, and try not to forget the pictures, the memories. All the time you are practicing your mind to remember, because this is the most frightening thing, that one day you won't remember all these details. So I force myself to remember it again and again during the night. So what can I do?
Oh, you're an extraordinary woman, Mary. Mary,
Thank you.
I want to ask you something. I know that what was the answer for you, and Orla Mishpachot was able to help you with that. It's not, as you said, for everybody, and it certainly isn't replacing a child. So let's put that aside. To a person who is in as much pain as you were in and probably are still in, what kinds of words of hope can you offer that one day the darkness gives way to a bit of light? What do you need? What do you need when you're in pain? Do you need Yom Hazikaron, or do you need other people who understand? What do you want us to remember about Eran and keep his memory alive? And what do people in your position need?
Okay. You have when you lost a child, you have to go through a process, and the process is long. For one, it's 1 year. For another, it's like 14 years. It doesn't matter. Everyone deals with it differently because we are different and all the ways are correct. One will go and paint, one will go and volunteer, and one will have a child. But when I speak with the new parents that they lost their sons, first of all, I give them the permission to cry, the permission to say I want to die, the permission that everything that he is feeling it's normal because you lost your son, and when you lost the son, it's the end of the world, and you can grieve and you can say bad things and you can argue with God and you can say whatever you want. You have the permission for it. But you have to remember that after you are down, really, in the hole, in the dark hole, the day after, you are going to raise your head and continue because you have to choose if you want to die or you want to live. When you want to die, you will go through disease, through depression, all the disease, and in the end, you will leave this world. But when you choose to live, don't afraid to cry for your son. Don't afraid to say that you are angry. Don't afraid to say anything. But after these words, you have to know that tomorrow you are going to live, and tomorrow you are going to enjoy the sun, and tomorrow you are going to enjoy your son's smile and your children's joy, everything. You have to know when the wave comes, you have to bend to and not to afraid to raise again and continue. And this is what I want to say, that it could pass many, many years, but still, when the person is proceeding, this is the way, not stuck and not living the past. You have to look forward and say, I'm going to live. I chose life.
And your final thoughts to keep his memory alive for all of us who are watching. What character trait or idea or thing that reminds you most of Eran can we focus on in order to ensure that his memory is a blessing?
Eran was devoted to the country of Israel. And even half an hour before he went to this operation that he died in Gaza, he was late to stand with the commander, and all the soldiers called him, Eran, come. They were taking a shower, and he found a tap that was leaking, and he said, I won't leave here until I will fix this tape because we don't have enough water in the Kinneret. And he stood there and tried to fix the tape, and he didn't care about the commander that is waiting because he was so taking care of all the parts of Israel that this was the most important thing for him. Before he's going, to live life, he sat there and fixed the tape. So I would ask for you to remember how was Eran devoted to life and to the friends and to the family and all the things he did, just giving and volunteer with a big, big heart. This was my boy, big heart.
Oh, Mary, if I could reach through this screen and hold you in my arms and cry with you and kiss your face, I would. May Eran's memory be for an eternal blessing. May we all expand our hearts and our engagement and passion for the land of Israel in the merit of his sweet soul. Thank you, Mary, so much.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I was so honored to hear your story.
It was my pleasure. And I thank you that you gave me the opportunity that I will tell you about my Eran.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Well, from myself, Adrienne Gold Davis, and all of us at Momentum, please remember that as we learn and grow, and as we remember together, that the highest form of wisdom will always be kindness. Good night, everybody.
I've got 1,000 questions coming from deep within. Wanna cut through the clutter. I need to know that my next move